It's not an easy gospel today. Jesus is facing the fact that sometimes bad things happen to good people and to you and me. And how do we put this in a spiritual context to make meaning out of it? This morning, driving here with Rayanne Weissman, on I-95, we had a flat tire. And we'd planned to be here about a half hour early, but she called her daughter, and we were able somehow to make it, and I'm really glad to be here. I'll tell you that right now. Although I know Deacon Benjamin would have had a great service, but we are very happy that things have turned out the way they did. Yeah. So, in the gospel, the term blessed is from a translation from the Greek, which says blessed, but the word itself is a Hebrew term, asher, and is used to mean those happy. So it's a meditation. It's Jesus is giving us practical advice for moving us into the kingdom of God, into the future, but living happily now in the world as we prepare to go to our eternal home. And he's giving us, instead of the 10 commandments, he's given us 10 restatements of the law and toward a deeper spiritual community. So we're going to now reflect on these for a few minutes. First of all, how happy the poor in spirit, the reign of God is theirs. Involuntary diminishment of the ego is a fact of life. It's a medical diagnosis, loss of a relationship, financial ruin. Thomas Merton, a great spiritual leader, said, "It is in this darkness when nothing is left in use that can please or comfort our minds, when we seem to be useless and worthy of all on empty, when we seem to have failed, when we seem to have been destroyed and devoured, it is then that the deep and sacred selfishness, scared selfishness, that is too close for us to identify is stripped away from our souls. It is in this darkness that we find true liberty. It is in the abandonment that we are made strong. This is the night which emptied us and makes us pure." So that is the poor in spirit. So how happy are the sorrowing? Bitterness and pain, which has not been transformed by wisdom. The sorrowing are people who have embraced their fate. Christopher Reeves, who played Superman in the movies, became a paraplegic. When asked how he had dealt with this in terms of his life, he said, "You play the hand you're dealt. I think the game's worthwhile." Viktor Frankl, reflecting on his own fateful experience in Auschwitz, believed that courageously taking up our cross adds dignity and deeper meaning to life. So if you'd like to say with me, I am happy when I accept my poverty of spirit and work through my sorrow. I am happy when I accept my poverty of spirit and work through my sorrow. How happy are the lowly? Dante said a great flame follows a little spark. So we learn to appreciate the small things of life. Great people who have accomplished extraordinary things, we see only the glamorous result, but not how they obtained them. Most of them will tell you the ordinary, humdrum struggle that it was to achieve their goal. Wordsworth said, "Wisdom is often nearer when we stoop than when we soar." Mother Teresa said, "We can do no great thing. We can only do small things with great love." So I am happy when I identify with the lowly. Secondly, how happy are they who hunger and thirst for holiness? Thomas Merton said, "Do not look for rest in any pleasure, because we're not created for pleasure. We're created for spiritual joy." And how do you know the difference between spiritual joy and pleasure? When you don't know the difference, you haven't begun to live yet. Spiritual joy ignores suffering and laughs at it, or even exploits it to purify itself of the greatest obstacle, which is each of us' greatest obstacle, which is selfishness. If you'd like to say after me, I am happy when I identify with the lowly and hunger for holiness. I am happy when I identify with the lowly and hunger for holiness. How happy are they who show compassion? See, we are part of a wider community, which is called the universe. Part limited in time and space. We experience ourselves, our thoughts and feelings as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of our consciousness. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, restricting us and leaving us only with our own personal desires and to the affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circles of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole nature of the universe in all its beauty. Albert Einstein said, "I am happy when I show compassion." How happy are the single-hearted? At Lincoln Center, a person rushed up to Itzhak Perlman and said, "I would give my life to be able to play like you." And his reply was, "I did." So often I have no real priorities but to say yes to everything. And this is going to only lead us to trouble. We need good boundaries. We need to be single-hearted. And are weakened by divided loyalties. I lack power because I am a mile wide and an inch deep. And I'm referring to myself in that case. I think each of us to an extent. If you'd like to say after me, I am happy when I show compassion and act out of a single heart. I am happy when I show compassion and act out of a single heart. How happy are the peacemakers? Franklin D. Roosevelt once said that we are faced with the preeminent fact that if civilization is to survive, we must cultivate the science and a passion for human relationship. The ability of all people of all kinds to live together and work together in the same world at peace. You know, peace is at the heart of the gospel, and we can be present in our amidst with peace, even in the midst of turmoil. It is a spiritual value that moves us not from the outside in, but we live from the inside out, and what we have inside is a deep peace. How happy are those persecuted and insulted for holiness' sake? Great loneliness and suffering are met creatively as potential growth experiences. And only by surrendering ourselves to them fully and completely will salvation, self-growth lie in full assent to loneliness and suffering, accepting what is, not fighting or resisting, not rationalizing or appealing to external helps, not demanding on why one has been singled out for so much pain, but submitting one's heart to the experience in total self-surrender. If you'd like to say after me, I am happy when I work for peace and persecuted faith, hope, and love. I am happy when I work for peace and am persecuted for faith, hope, and love. So if you wonder what the meaning of your life is, if you feel you have not accomplished everything you want to accomplish, the Beatitudes are the best door to being successful, because they are the door to holiness. A holy life will produce the deepest effect and impression. You know, lighthouses have no horns. They only shine. And this morning, I am honored to be present with this congregation who shines beautifully in my eyes. Thank you.